I came here to look out for my in-laws. How much longer is Jennifer going to keep relying on her parents? There's nothing respectable about freeloading off the family home to avoid finding a real job. She needs to leave right now. For a moment, I was taken aback by the sight of my sister-in-law, Kate, pointing toward the door, seething with anger. But soon, my own frustration began to rise, twisting my features. Kate was trying to kick me out of my own family home while hiding her true intentions. I couldn't let that slide. I'm Jennifer. I work as a web writer and have been living at home for a while. I started blogging in college, and it's now a source of income for me. Writing has always been my passion, so I pitched my blog to various websites and eventually got hired as a web writer. For years, I lived alone in an apartment, working from home after college. That was until my dad had a car accident that left him in a wheelchair. He, always the optimistic one, quickly learned how to use an electric wheelchair and continued living his life with a positive attitude. But our family home wasn't accessible for someone in a wheelchair. Since I wasn't interested in getting married, I suggested moving in with my parents to help out. They agreed, so I bought a new place, a luxury apartment that was connected to a train station and shopping mall, making it much easier for my dad to get around. My parents loved the new place, and I felt good about providing a better environment for them. We had peaceful days together until my brother John's marriage flipped everything upside down. John married Kate, a stunning woman he met at a bar. She was tall, beautiful, and seemed completely out of his league, so John was ecstatic about their relationship. My parents and I were genuinely happy for them, as Kate always seemed respectful and well-mannered. But after the wedding, Kate started showing up at our home more often. "Your place is so beautiful. I love the view. It makes me envious," Kate would often comment while gazing out the window. Although we hadn't intentionally chosen a high floor, only the top floor had been available when I bought the place. Kate seemed to envy this, and before long, she started dropping by uninvited every few days, which was starting to get on my nerves. I had a designated work area in the house, but Kate would barge in without hesitation whenever she saw me working. "What are you doing? Playing around again? Looks fun," she'd say, making snide remarks when our parents weren't around. I had told Kate that I earned my living as a web writer and blogger, but she scoffed, saying, "There's no way you could afford such a nice place doing that." I'm not fooled. Apparently, Kate didn't understand the online world. She had no idea that some bloggers and web writers live in even fancier homes and travel the world while working. To her, I must have looked like someone depending on my parents financially. At first, Kate hid her true feelings, but her behavior began to shift. She started complaining about me living at home while trying to ingratiate herself with my parents by helping with the housework, particularly with my dad. Kate's actions were admirable. Before marrying John, she had worked as a caregiver and was attentive to my dad's needs. Naturally, my dad appreciated her efforts, and my mom did too. Despite it being my home, I began to feel like it was no longer really mine. Then, one day, something in Kate's outfit caught my attention while she was talking with my dad. I couldn't help but ask. I don't usually talk to Kate, but this time I couldn't resist. "What's wrong?" she asked. "Are you wearing men's clothing? Isn't that from a famous brand?" A guy I knew used to wear that brand and proudly showed off his new shirt. Surprised, Kate responded, "I like men's clothes too," forcing a smile. Something about her reaction didn't sit right with me, and I noticed her glaring at me. "What's wrong? Is there an issue with me wearing men's clothes?" I asked, feeling uneasy. Her sudden shift in tone shocked my dad, and my mom, who had been sipping coffee nearby, froze. I was used to Kate's icy glares, so I calmly said, "No, it's nothing." With a burst of anger, Kate snapped, "If you're going to keep making assumptions, then I'm leaving." She stormed out, leaving my parents confused about her sudden outburst, but I had a bad feeling in my gut. A few days later, I was relaxing in the living room, playing a game after meeting a work deadline. I sensed someone's gaze and turned around in surprise. There stood Kate, her face full of fury. I'm the one who usually answers the intercom in our home. My old-fashioned parents are uncomfortable with the camera system, so they call on me whenever it rings. It's impossible that I wouldn't have noticed if the intercom had gone off. Our apartment has an automatic lock system, and there are 2 doors to unlock before entering. I always lock the door, so there's no way I could have forgotten. In shock, I blurted out, "How did you get in?" Kate smirked and replied, "I had a key made with John's. You never know when Jennifer might do something horrible to her parents." I've never done anything to hurt my parents. While I might not always be the most considerate, I've never done anything so bad that Kate would need to have a spare key to barge in whenever she felt like it. My parents, noticing Kate's sudden appearance, were just as surprised. When they asked how she had gotten in, she gave them the same answer she'd given me. My dad defended me, saying, "Jennifer would never do anything wrong, we're only grateful to her." But Kate loudly disagreed. "No, Jennifer is already doing something terrible. She's living off her parents' money. Isn't she ashamed to be playing games in the middle of the day?" I glared at Kate, who was suddenly on a rant. I had been talking with my brother about her behavior, and I honestly thought she should be the one feeling ashamed, but instead, her tirade kept going. "I came here to protect my in-laws," she snapped. "How much longer is Jennifer going to rely on her parents? It's pathetic to mooch off your family home just to avoid getting a real job. Leave now." I was momentarily stunned as Kate pointed to the door, her face red with anger. Then, my frustration began to build, twisting my expression. Kate must have realized I knew about her secret, that's why she was trying to throw me out and cover her tracks. Before I could say anything, my brother stormed into the living room. His arrival caught both Kate and me off guard, and it was clear he was angrier than either of us. "What's going on here?" he shouted, pulling something out of his bag and scattering it on the table. The pictures showed Kate walking hand in hand with a man who wasn't my brother. They were even kissing on the street. Kate's face drained of color as she scrambled to pick up the photos, muttering, What's this? What's going on?" The reason my brother had come to me was because he suspected something was off with Kate. Recently, she'd been acting strangely, leaving the house every day and coming back late. She told him she was coming to help care for my dad, but she only visited every couple of days. The truth about where she'd been went straight to the heart of the matter: those photos. My mom was shaking with anger as she looked at them, and then my dad spoke up quietly. "Should we just move out? Kate wants this house, doesn't she? I appreciate her help, but I've noticed something. She's been measuring the rooms secretly. Didn't she ask your mother if the mortgage was paid off? This house might be too big for one person, but Jennifer would probably just rent it out and live alone." I was planning to move in with John, but how could I live in a house with a wife who's kissing another man? No chance. "Wait, it was just a fling. You're the one I love. Please forgive me," Kate sobbed as she clung to my brother, but he pushed her away. "Don't touch me," he spat. "You're disgusting." Tears streamed down Kate's face, and despite her pretty looks, I couldn't help but think how terrifying her expression was. As she directed her fury at me, she screamed, "What's your problem? I thought if I kicked you out, no one would know about my affair. It's all your fault. Get out." Kate was clearly panicking, not fully understanding what she was saying. My dad was right, she wanted to take over the house, but today, she shifted gears, trying to justify kicking me out because I had made a comment about her wearing a men's shirt. Turns out, that shirt came from her affair partner after she spilled pasta sauce on herself during a date. I couldn't fathom why she'd wear such a shirt in front of her in-laws, but that's why she tried to get me out of the house. My brother declared he would never forgive Kate and would divorce her, demanding compensation. "Starting today, I'm living here. Kate's the one who needs to leave," he said. John decided to move back into our family home, saying he couldn't live with Kate after discovering her affair. My parents had no objection to this. Kate cried and begged him for forgiveness, but he showed no mercy. He apologized to me and our parents, and we comforted him, feeling sorry for how he'd been deceived by her. Kate ended up returning to the house she shared with my brother, but he planned to terminate the lease. He met with her to collect the spare keys to our house and told her never to come back. In the end, Kate had to pay a large sum in compensation. She turned to her wealthy affair partner for help, but my brother had also demanded compensation from him. It seemed their affair was nothing more than a fling, and the partner was furious about being dragged into the mess. He refused to help Kate. She had spent most of her savings on dates with him and now had to use what little remained to pay the compensation. Now she's working a physically demanding job with a dormitory. My brother tells me she's so busy she barely has time to sleep, but as far as I'm concerned, it's just karma for what she did to my brother. John, on the other hand, moved into our family home, going through a tough time, but it seems fate had a hand in his healing. One night, at his favorite bar, he was nursing his sorrow, thinking about how Kate had betrayed him. That's when a kind woman, who had never spoken to him before, quietly offered him a handkerchief. She later admitted she had her reasons, but it was clear she genuinely cared for him. When Kate found out that John had found a much kinder, more understanding partner, she was reportedly crying her heart out. She still thought my brother would want to reconcile, which was utterly delusional. It's amazing how shameless some people can be. John's new fiancé understands my work as a freelancer and even compliments me for being able to afford a luxury apartment. I can't say I mind the praise, especially considering Kate's behavior. I've welcomed this new woman into our family without hesitation. Kate tried to destroy our family and take control of our home, but now John has found happiness. We're all looking forward to brighter days ahead. With Kate out of the picture, my parents and I have returned to a peaceful life. My dad, who Kate used to fuss over, is now enjoying more freedom and comfort. I used to worry that I wasn't doing enough for him, but hearing his thoughts was a relief. Now, our little family of 3 cherishes the calm of everyday life. We're especially happy when John and his fiancée come to visit. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Stay stunned.